Hello, welcome. So, this is exciting. Today we're going to talk about the 5 do's and don'ts when you're buying a business. Now, if you're going to be buying a business, I hope you've checked out some of my other videos that have talked about some of the different details that you're going to need to know about buying a business, because there's a lot of useful information in there, things that'll help you and that will prevent you from getting a bad deal. And these are just going to add to it. So I don't want you to think that those are all of it and that this is all of it. Try to watch those other videos because I promise they'll be worth it. If you're new here, my name is Taylor Darcy from Think Legal, where I help you create the business of your dreams. So welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. If you're watching this on the replay, please know that we go live Monday through Friday, except for holidays, at 11 a.m. So tune in, and I would love to answer your questions or just say hi, just hang out if you're bored. And I know legal stuff isn't necessarily the most fun in the world, but I promise that we'll kick it, have a decent time, maybe bring some coffee if you like that sort of thing, or Pepsi or Dr. Pepper or whatever your personal preference is. So feel free to come by, and I'd love to meet you and continue to build. And I hope you're having a great day because, hey, if you're alive and you're above ground, then it's a great day, right? So let's see. I think that's good. So let's get started. All right. Well, before we begin, I wanted to just remind you that if you could hit subscribe and hit that bell icon to be notified of when we go live, that would be great, so that you can join me, because I know sometimes life gets in the way, but I'd love for you to come and hang out. So don't forget to do that while you're watching the video. So number one, and this should be obvious, but I see it happening more frequently than I would like. Don't do a handshake deal. We're going to start with the don'ts, but because I like ending on positive notes. So you don't want to do a handshake deal. First of all, there's lots that can go wrong with the handshake deal. And I'm not being a cynic about it. I'm just saying the reality is that if you do a handshake deal, both parties' ideas and what will be good wins for them will not be a part of that. A handshake deal is just so frustrating because most of them fail for the obvious reasons that people don't want to get bamboozled or screwed. And at the beginning, you don't really know what you don't know yet. And you really need to do the work to find that out before you should be buying a business from someone, because this is a big deal. Buying a business is not a small thing that you should just enter into quickly or easily, even if you have the money, and oh well, if you let it burn, right? I mean, some people are that way. I'm not suggesting you personally are that way, but some people are. So keep this in mind, that these are generalities for everyone. Some will apply, some won't, but I want you to think about this in that context, because the truth is, I don't want to see you get screwed for no reason when we can easily, I mean, so easily prevent it. The next thing is, don't be afraid to ask pertinent, relevant questions. They can be uncomfortable. I totally get it, because you're asking, I mean, they could be intrusive. These could be very intrusive questions that you're talking about, because a business is a lot like a person's child. They spend a lot of time on it, in it, doing lots of stuff. And so it's going to feel uncomfortable for them. But at the same time, it's just like buying a car. We've talked about this in other videos, but if you're buying a car, you got to kick the tires. You need to have a mechanic take a look at it before you buy it, especially if it's used. If it's new, you've got your warranty and that type of thing. Had a client who bought a car. They didn't do the proper inspection on it. They took it to the dealership, and the dealership said, sorry, we can't fix it because it's been in an accident. They took it to a body shop, and the body shop said that it's been in a major accident. And so, I'm having to deal with the legal consequences of that right now. So I tell you that because the more invasive the questions you ask, the better the opportunity you'll get to know the seller, as well as all of the details that go around with that. But don't be afraid. It's your money that he's asking for. And if the questions, if they don't want to answer them, keep walking. Like, don't let it affect you. Walk away. That's the worst thing you can do, is feel like you're trapped into something because of whatever reason. So the next thing is, don't settle. I know this sounds like, well, yeah, no kidding. But what I mean by that is, don't settle for something you don't want. If it's not a good fit for you, admit it. It's okay. Walk away. That's the strongest thing that you can do. And that actually is point number 4 of the don't. Don't be afraid to walk away. I don't care how much time you have invested in it. If it's not a good fit for whatever reason, the financials that aren't there, the employees aren't there, they don't like it, you don't like it, whatever. I mean, we'll talk about the do's, but if something just doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. If someone is making choices that aren't helpful to the business, or there's potential debt issues, or there's lots of things that can go wrong with it. So I don't want you to feel like that you have to do anything. Use my permission. Say, Taylor from the internet said I could walk away, and walk away. And please use me in that capacity. Don't use me for anything else. I'm not your attorney for any other reason. I'm not saying that I am your attorney. I'm just saying that, say just, what, I need to think about it. I need to walk away. If someone's going to push you into something, especially when it makes you uncomfortable, walk away. If they aren't willing to answer your questions honestly, legitimately, and so forth, walk away. People feel like they're trapped into something, and it ends up hurting them later because they didn't walk away. The next thing is, and this is probably one of the most important things, is you look at the business through rose-colored glasses. And I can't state this enough. You want to see every nick, every nook, every cranny, every blemish, every little smelly detail of that business that you're going to be buying. You want to know exactly what you're getting yourself into. You want to have it gone over with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that it's a good fit for you. Okay, because if you're going to be having this business for 5, 10, 15, 30 years, maybe, depending on the business, do you want to be stuck with the business that sucks, or that is just not what you want, or is not perfect for you? Now, you're not going to get 100% of everything that you want. Okay, it's a lot like a relationship. The 80-20 rule. Focus on the 80% of what you want, figure this out, and then don't worry about the 20%, because there's never going to be a perfect business, whether you start it or whether you buy it. There is no difference in that category. There's no perfect business. It just doesn't exist. And if you think it does, you're sadly mistaken. And you probably don't have any business buying a business. No pun intended. All right, so those are the don'ts. These are just like high level. Think about these things. You want to go into the relationship, if you will, with your eyes wide open. You don't want to be afraid of the things that are lurking, because there always are. I promise you, if you sniff hard enough, or if you look hard enough, you will find something that you don't like. And don't let that make or break you if it's in the category of you don't care, right? Like, there are certain things that I don't care about when I'm dealing with things. It's like, okay, it's not perfect, so I'll do it anyway, because it's not perfect, but at the same time, it's better to do it and move forward than it is to just kind of hope for the best. So let's move on to the do's. And this is the much happier section, and by far the better section, in my opinion. So number 1, you're going to want to ask for financials as soon as you're serious. You don't want to make an offer on something that the financials just don't match up. Okay, you want to make sure that you get those financials and you get them analyzed properly before you're making any serious type of offer. I mean, let me rephrase that. When you're serious about buying, yes, but don't make that offer until you see some money. Because just because the seller wants to get certain money for that deal doesn't mean it's actually worth that. And you need to verify that. You need to check those assets. You need to make sure that it's worth what you're going to pay for it. You know, you could give them a ballpark. You could say, this is what I'm looking to pay for something, approximately this amount. Have yourself a little bit of a slush in there so that it's not 100%, okay, if it's outside my budget, then I'm never going to do it, right? So you want to be careful with that, but get those financials as soon as possible, okay, whatever that is. The next thing, you're going to want to perform a background on the seller of the company. Are there any potential legal issues that they are known for? A lawsuit is hardly a reason not to do a deal. If that lawsuit is still pending and it could bankrupt the deal, then yeah, that might be worth not doing the business. Okay. But I'm saying if the lawsuit's already been settled and, you know, he explains the situation, what happened, you have all the details, don't let that be a detail that would keep you from buying. I would be more more concerned about a criminal record for fraud or embezzlement or fill in the blank. Those are the ones that I'm talking about looking for. You know, look at the circumstances, discuss it with an attorney to decide whether these are break or not break type things. But you want to do a background on the seller, and with no exceptions. You want to know who you're getting, what you're getting from. Now, again, pay attention to the deal at hand. Sometimes that'll apply. Sometimes it won't. Again, you need to take a look at this as the sum whole of the business, not just, this little detail of the business, because not everybody has a perfect record of anything, right? I mean, they could have child support payments that they're dealing with. They could have a bankruptcy that they had to deal with. I don't know. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to say this is what you have to do. I'm saying these are the things that you should consider and things that you should think about while you're doing this business so that you get a good deal and you're happy with the business that you're getting. So that's number 2. Number 3, you want to meet with all your stakeholders and get their reactions or their buy-in. One of the things that often happens with a lot of mergers or acquisitions is they don't talk to the employees about it. And then the employees don't like the new management because the new management's different. They might be not better or worse. It just is different. And so what ends up happening then is the employees leave, and that's a major source of your benefit of buying a business. When your employees, your top talent, especially if they're in a sales role or in a management role, leave because they don't like you, well, that's a problem. So you're going to want to talk to them. You're going to want to talk to anybody that has a stake in your success before you buy into it. And it doesn't have to be a interview so much as it has to, I get to know you so they see you before you're their boss or owner, that type of thing, so that you're building that relationship. Talk to them about what they like about their job, what they don't like about their job, what things they would like to improve, because this will give you great ideas for when you buy it and you're building the business, that you can improve those things. You can help the employees improve. Maybe the previous owner was a little stodgy. Maybe they were a little stuck in their ways. Maybe they liked it doing the way that they'd always done it. And even if there's a new way to do it that could be done better, by involving your potential employees in it, you're going to have a much better outcome. You're going to get to keep more of those people that are working hard for you, that are helping the business grow. So you want to involve them. Don't shut them out. Don't make them feel like they have no say in their lives and they have no say in what happens. That's the worst thing you can do, because when they feel that way, they're going to leave, because they're going to feel like that they don't have control of their life, and you do, or the owner does now, and then you will. And that's a weird feeling to be in. And so people aren't just there for a paycheck. And if you need any more guidance on that, I'm happy to talk to you about it. But people are not just coming to work for money. They could work lots of places for money. They're coming to work because they like the work. They feel fulfilled. They have a good management team. They have people that care about them. So there's lots of different reasons that people come to work, and none of which are money. So you really want to focus on that as part of your buy, is making sure that the people they feel valued and part of the transition to help you make that transition and improving their business and improving that business, I should say, will go a long way to helping you and your the buy happen better. And also, you're doing something that not a lot of business or business buyers are doing. And that's important because if nobody else is doing it, then you're going to have a lot stronger portfolio of businesses if that's what your goal is, than someone who's just a come in, a wham bam, I'm going to chop everything down and build it back up. I'm just going to take the client list and run. Those are the types of people that are going to struggle with employees and that aren't going to be good owners in that respect. So that's number 3. Number 4, you're going to want to hire an outside business valuation consultant and an independent third party. So it's not, yes, it's going to be paid by you, but somebody that doesn't have a vested interest in the value of the business. Because here's the thing. The sellers, this is a universal truth. A seller of a business always wants to sell it for as much as humanly possible. There's nothing wrong with that. That's to be expected. If you think otherwise, you've never sold anything, which I can't believe that'd be true. A buyer always wants to buy for the least amount of money possible, right? And so that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that too, right? Nobody wants to spend more money than they have to. But here's the key. If you have an independent business valuation come in and get a real number for it, someone, and even maybe you pay for it and the seller is the one that picks it, okay, so that they know that they can trust them. By doing that, you're going to not only involve the seller, that's awesome, but also trust that the numbers that you come to, that you agree upon, are fair. Nobody's going to feel like they're getting screwed on the deal because of the seller thinking it's worth $1 million when it's really only worth $750,000. And I'm just using those numbers for instance, so don't feel like that's anything to do with you, the specific situation you're looking at. So keep those types of things in mind, that you want to have this business valuation, a third party. They choose it, you pay for it. It's going to run you a little bit of money, but it's certainly worth the investment that goes with it, because then you're going to get a better deal out of it, right? Because that may be, okay, the owner thinks it's worth $1 million. You really only want to pay $750,000, but the business valuation comes back at $850,000. Okay, so that's a number that you can work with, right? Because now you have someone that's saying, hey, this business is worth this much. Maybe there's a plus or minus involved there, so keep that in mind. But you're going to be a lot happier knowing that you did this. So it's worth investing that money into the business to do it. The next thing, and this is my personal favorite, get everything in writing. I cannot stress this enough. I had a law professor that used to say, if it goes without saying, it usually goes better with saying. And this cannot be more true with getting a business purchase in writing. You want every detail. You want it to hash out. Is it going to cost money? Yes. Okay. Yes, it will cost money. I'm sorry. But if you want to get a good business and you want to make sure you're protected, the other parties are protected, that it's a good contract for both parties, get it in writing. That's why handshake deals are terrible, because there's so much ambiguity in it, and it just ends up hurting everybody. Because then you feel like you got screwed, or they feel like they got screwed. So you really want to spend the time and the money to hash out those details in that contract. Make sure everybody's getting exactly what they want. And that's the beauty of a contract. That's why I love contracts, is because you get exactly what you want. If you're just joining us, please leave your name in the chat. I'd love to find out where you're from. I'm hoping you're having a great day. As we were just talking about buying and selling a business, or rather buying a business, and some things that you have to know about that, and things that'll make the process smoother. I tell people I practice preventative law. There really is no such thing as preventative law, okay? But when I say preventative law, I say that, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And, when you approach problems like that, I can save you tons of money and avoid litigation that's expensive and hurtful and it's just bad for people if you are willing to invest in your business. And so like I said, there's no such thing as preventative law, but my preference is to always do something that keeps you from having to spend more money and looking at it as an investment. And so when I charge you whatever I charge you for something, it's with the best intent to get you the best outcome possible with the least amount of headache to keep you asleep at night, right? I want to make sure you're sleeping like a baby. Although if anybody has any babies, you know that they don't really sleep that well until they're, never mind. Anyway, point is I want you sleeping well at night, and that's the way that I work. That's the way that my business goes. I don't want you to be awake at night worrying about the things that, number one, I worry about, and number two, that don't need to be worried about. And so getting everything in writing and following these steps that we just talked about are absolutely crucial for your success in buying a business. If you've gotten value out of this video, don't forget to hit subscribe, like, and that bell icon. Remember, we go live every Monday through Friday at 11. We'll see you next time.